is presented by Bullet Bourbon Frontier Whiskey.
He's Jalen Rose. I am David Jacoby. We are Jalen and Jacoby. Jalen, what is it that we do?
We give the people what they want.
Jalen, the people are going to get what they want. It is a Bay Area celebration in the Verzuz battle this Saturday, and we have one of the combatants, Too Short, joins us later on in the show. But we start with the championship Lakers taking the floor last night, and they had LeBron James and AD in uniform actually playing basketball. Jalen, I know you watched this one. I know you're already a league pass addict. What did you see from the purple and gold?
That the defending world champs are loaded, Jacoby, and they got it covered in every phase. Storied franchise tied with the Boston Celtics for the most championships in the league with 17. They currently have two superstars, LeBron James and Anthony Davis. You go out in free agency, get the two guys that were first and second and sixth man of the year. And then you also, thirdly, develop from within. Players that they drafted, in particular, Kyle Kuzma, Taylor Horton-Tucker playing really well. Look at those notable offseason additions. So in every phase, Jacoby, having a superstar, offseason additions, and building from within, the Lakers got all of the bases covered.
I want to talk about Kuzma and Taylor Horton-Tucker. Let's take them each one by one. Do you remember when Kuzma had that summer league where he just exploded? And that first year, he was really getting buckets. And last year with AD there, sort of seemed to take a little bit of a step back in his development. What do you expect from him? Will he become established as that third option in this offense, even with everything that they've added?
He has the talent to do so, Jacoby, but it's only one basketball. And you know who's going to have it the most? LeBron James, who led the league in assists, and Anthony Davis, who's first-team All-NBA. They're going to have the ball. So if your strength is scoring or shooting, guess what? You're going to get a lot less shots. You're going to score a lot less. Your opportunities are going to be a lot less. So these young players have to come in and be efficient because you understand that you're playing for a championship, and that sacrifice is necessary. When Taylor Horton-Tucker plays a lot better, you know whose minutes goes down? Schrader. His minutes goes down because it's like, oh, okay, we got to find a way to get this guy some more tick. But that's the sacrifice that everybody's willing to make in order to win a championship. And they have that depth from top to bottom.
So I was watching this game, and I've watched Taylor Horton-Tucker play the last couple games, and he's really looked good. Now, does that translate to the regular season? Hopefully for the Lakers. But I've always thought, like, whose minutes does it really get into, and how do they use him? I know exactly how they use him. Load management. Someone's going to have to pick up those minutes because they're not going to be playing their superstars all the time. So those minutes pop up every few nights. And also, not everyone stays healthy all season. There has never been a basketball team that was healthy all season long. So the question is not, oh, how do they find a way to put him on the floor? Are they misusing him? You put him on the roster, and when you have holes in the roster, superstars out because of load management, or anybody out, role players out because of injuries, then Taylor Horton-Tucker gets a chance to really prove that he belongs in the rotation. Very exciting last night watching this game, but they also had another team on the floor. The Lakers are always going to get all the headlines, but the revamped Phoenix Suns were out there. What did you think from what you saw from Phoenix?
The late, great David Stern vetoed a trade once, Jacoby, that would have sent Chris Paul to the Los Angeles Lakers. And as I saw the Greek Freak re-sign, and Dame Lillard has had his staying power in Portland, becoming their anchor and their franchise player, it made me think, the point guard, the future first ballot Hall of Famer, JRLA supporter, my brother Chris Paul, I was thinking, which team is going to celebrate his legacy when he goes into the Hall of Fame? What jersey would he wear? What do you think, Jacoby? Like, Melo, I believe, played in New York long enough at least to get them to pay some tribute and retire his number there. But he wasn't with the Pelicans, the Hornets / long enough. We know what happened with the Clippers and OKC. So what are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts are it's a good problem to have because he's had success. Now, he hasn't won a championship or been to the finals, but he's had success with the Pelicans. He's had success with the Clippers, had success with the Rockets. I mean, he was very close. It was him. It was his injury that sort of kept them from beating the Warriors. And, of course, I don't think these stints with the Thunder or the Suns will sort of like be his legacy. but he is one of those players that has played in a lot of teams, will go to the Hall of Fame, no questionably one of the best point guards of all time. But I don't really, when I close my eyes and envision what jersey he wears in Springfield, I don't know. Like, it might just have like an NBA logo on it and be like one of those old video game jerseys that doesn't have a team name. Like, that's kind of feels appropriate. And again, it's not like he doesn't have one of those Dirk Nowitzki careers where it's like, he is a Dallas Maverick. I mean, he has a career where he's bounced around, but he's had a lot of success. And one would ask, like, is that better or worse than a Dame Lillard? What do you think about that?
Well, Dame Lillard being an anchor for a franchise, and he plays there his entire career. We know they're going to name a street after him. We know they're going to retire his number. And if he wins a championship, they'll likely give him a statue. So anytime you can have that staying power of a Tim Duncan, of a Kobe Bryant, that's what you want if you can win championships. But if you're not going to win championships so far, which Dame hasn't, and Dirk was able to get one, I would believe that you want the staying power of a Dame Lillard.
One thing I'm really glad you brought up was that vetoed trade by David Stern to Lakers, because when his career is over and he's sitting on the front porch watching his kids play and drinking a glass of red wine, that's the what if that he's going to ask himself. That's the what if that he's going to say, you know what, I had a great career. I've done a lot of great things on and off the court. But man, David Stern really changed it midway through. Moving on to Giannis Antetokounmpo, who looks like he is going to have he's going to be the face of a franchise, unlike Chris Paul. Looks like he's not going to bounce around. He's signed. He's going to play 6 more seasons with the Bucks, and he had this to say about getting a little help and recruiting other players to come join him in Milwaukee.
No, I'm not trying to be active. Like, that's something that I don't want to do because that involves a lot of people's life and my teammates' lives, and I try to stay away from that.
Interesting. He says he wants to stay away from recruiting other players, but Jalen, in 2020, isn't that how you get other players to join you, by recruiting them yourself?
David Jacoby, these are things you say mano a mano to the human being, not things you say to the media. You can't be on the court talking to the opponent like, why don't you come run with us? What does that say to the other 14 guys? Well, this year, 16 guys on the team. You go to a player that you may feel like, hey, you don't have a long-term deal in Indiana, Victor Oladipo. What do you think about your situation there? You say that from your mouth to his ear. You don't say that to the media. Trust me, him being locked in means that now he can actually do that and do it with a straight face, because the people that he's recruiting know that he's going to be there.
I like this. So basically, even though he said he will not recruit other players, now that he's locked in, he's guaranteed to be in a better position to recruit other players. We're just never going to know about it because we have microphones and cameras in front of us. Okay, got you. Thank you for breaking that one down for us. Moving on to someone who doesn't seem like they're going to stay at their team very long, James Harden. And he had an interesting line of questions from our colleague Tim McMahon about sort of how he prepared for the season. Let's check that out.
James, what was the point that you were trying to get across when you went to Atlanta and Vegas when training camp was starting?
I was just training.
What were you training for?
The start of the NBA season.
How did going to Atlanta and Vegas help you there when the Rockets were starting training camp in Houston?
Just my personal trainers.
Listen, I'm a journalist, okay? I have no proof that he did not spend 12 hours a day in Atlanta and Vegas with his personal trainers preparing for the NBA season. I have no proof that James Harden lied or stretched the truth in that back and forth. So I don't know. Perhaps James Harden's telling the truth. I think James Harden's probably telling the truth. Maybe he went to Little Baby's birthday party for 3 hours and spent the other 15 hours when he was awake vigorously training and preparing for the NBA season. I have no proof that's not the case. Shout out to James Harden. I got your back.
I love this so much for so many reasons. First off, when he asked James what he's trying to prove, let me tell you what James was trying to prove. To everybody who tried to weight shame him the other night and call him Rick Ross, you notice he set them guns up on the table, Jacoby. I get to the free throw line. I make layups. I'm a power guard. Don't get it twisted. And you see he got the compression shirt on.
Yeah, and look at the neck stretch. I like the neck stretch. Check the neck stretch when he gets the follow-up question.
You know he was looking at his phone at halftime and saw he was trending for all of the wrong reasons. So first off, that's the athletic flex. The next thing, I appreciate that he was actually there, present and willing like a professional to answer questions, which is a part of his job and something that the public deserves. I'm glad that he didn't take it personal. He didn't feel some type of way that he was being questioned. You're right. If you're the interviewer, the Rockets were getting ready for a season in Houston. However, you were in Atlanta. You were in Vegas. Those are inbounds questions, especially when you posted on social media that you were there. And so I respect the exchange professionally each way. And this is what James is going to need to do besides play great basketball in order for them to have the level of value to consider trading him.
Well, Tim also wrote an article that detailed the culture with the Rockets while James is there, and it was, quote, whatever James wanted. And we're talking about practice schedules and showing up late and player personnel movement and losing Dwight and losing Kevin McHale and bringing in Chris Paul, bringing in Russell Westbrook and missing a practice every year after the All-Star break and staying in a city maybe an extra day. Is this just normal superstar treatment, or is this sort of like outside of modus operandi for an NBA team?
Well, normal superstar treatment is investing in your best player and allowing him to be a part of the organization from the top down, including making some personnel decisions because you understand that superstar is going to be the face of your franchise. But there's also something to be said to not taking advantage of those privileges when you're the best player. And it's one thing to stay in the city an extra night. That's been happening since the beginning of time, Jacoby. That's celebrated. Trust me. Trust me. When the Gold Club was happening in Atlanta, we was like, you got to win, and then you can stay the night, dog. We was going to bed the night before. Trust me. You want to stay that extra night in Miami. You want to stay that extra night in Los Angeles. Like, that happened. But there are certain things that you can't do. And one of the things you can't do is disrespect everybody else's time. The thought that you're going to be late to the plane, the thought you're going to be late to the bus, and dog, you late for the film sessions? Like, so now that becomes a level of disrespect for the players that you play with and for the organization. And I hate that that's become public right now for James, because I've been traded. I know you want to slander a guy before you end up moving him, because you're not going to get fair value. So now you're going to put into the public's mind that we had to trade him because of all of these things. I just think he will get traded. It's just unfortunate these situations are being exposed right now.
Jalen, right after this break, Too Short will be joining us on Jalen and Jacoby. You don't want to miss that. Stay.
Frontier Whiskey.
Coming to you live from Pier 17 to South Street Seaport and brought to you by Chase. Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby. Jalen, briefly, who is joining us on the program right now?
A guy who once said Detroit is just like Oakland. It's a black thing, and I'm a black man. My brother from another mother, Todd Shaw, Too Short. What up, though, family?
What's up, man? What's going on, man? Good to see y'all.
Well, this weekend, all eyes will be on you and E40 as the two of you go head-to-head in a Verzuz battle in a celebration of Oakland. What is your strategy going into this event?
Oh, well, you know, it was kind of tough for me, man, because they said there's a limitation where you can only do like 20 songs or something. And I've been debating with them for the last weeks. I'm like, how do I do 20 songs? It's like, I don't know which ones to pick, so that's my only dilemma is which 20, because I can throw curves, sliders, fastballs, all kind of, you know what I mean? Then I'm going up against E40, and that's like fighting, that's like in a boxing ring with gloves on, fighting somebody with a sledgehammer. So, you know, it's going down.
All I know is the world is going to get so much slanguage from E40, the going with the spoon, and so much playing and pimping from Too Short. We're going to be Bay Area forever in this country after Saturday night.
We really want to take the opportunity to do some educating, man. It's an educational thing. I think a lot of people know tidbits about the Bay, but a lot of people don't know the history. They don't know the influence. They don't know the motivation that we put out there. So I just want to teach some people and remind some others.
Well, we appreciate that and look forward to that. We're also looking forward to tonight's game between the Chargers and what was previously the Oakland Raiders, now the Las Vegas Raiders. How do you feel about your team's chance to get in the playoffs this season?
It's not really looking good when I see the other teams that are in the hunt, man. We kind of, after that Chiefs game, the second Chiefs game, it seems like we left a little something there, man. So I'm a Raider Nation all the way. The Raiders can move anywhere, and I'm going with the Raiders. I'm a little bit mad that they left because of the economic situation. You don't want the loss of jobs and stuff, but I mean, you see what I'm wearing right now, silver and black, and we definitely gonna beat the Chargers. You know that.
So sure, I know the Raiders are the heartbeat of Oakland. Who are some of your favorite players to watch growing up, or did you get a chance to meet any of the players or run into them? Like, tell me some of the stories of your Oakland Raiders while they were still in town.
I mean, the Raiders are like legendary celebs, man. I don't know, brother. Raiders. I'm gonna tell you this. This is because we know about the Raiders. A lot of people don't remember the Raiders when the Raiders were just great. We were a damn good team all the way up until Tampa Bay whooped us in 2002 in the Super Bowl down in San Diego. After that, I don't know what happened, but I'm gonna tell you, the Raiders spirit always lives. Those years when the Raiders were just like terrible, I mean, go ask like somebody like Warren Sapp, man. The players were having fun. The city was having fun. We were coming in there doing seasons like 4-12, you know. But the Raiders would play on Sunday, home game. The Raiders would get beat down, home game, and that night we would party like we won the game. So, you know, Raider Nation, baby, Raider Nation. I'm gonna tell you this, man. Like I said, I got mixed emotions about, you know, the Warriors moving to San Francisco, the Raiders moving to Las Vegas, and all the people that lost jobs, man. I just feel like I went to a Warrior game at the new stadium, and I didn't see those familiar faces. It kind of, you know, got a little mixed emotions, but I'm gonna let you know on the safe side, just so you don't know, because everybody keeps saying, man, you gonna support the Las Vegas Raiders? You gonna support? Do you know that the residents of Las Vegas are, a whole ton of them are from Oakland, from the Bay, from LA. I mean, it might be more people from the Bay and LA that live in Vegas than people from Vegas.
Yes.
So don't get it twisted. Raider Nation has been there long before the Raiders got there.
Well, I know it must be a little bittersweet
and that stadium looks good.
It's going to look good at night tonight, too. I know it must be a little bittersweet to have to go to San Francisco to see your Warriors. But, you know, they look like they were going to have a great season, and Klay Thompson's obviously out for the season. What are your expectations? What do you think will happen this season with your Warriors?
I'm just hoping they look like they're having fun and they play that Warriors kind of basketball and just, you know, keep it going like it was, man. But I'm telling you, I'm an Oakland boy, and I'm telling you that Roracle had magic in it. And you should have just remodeled it a little bit. You should have stayed in that Roracle, because that the fans sitting right there on top of the court, that was the sixth man all day.
I used to love going to Oakland, obviously because Detroit and the Bay got a kinship, but it's just a different smell in Roracle. So, sure, and you know what smell I'm talking about. Have you seen Steph Curry's recent haircut? And what do you think about his braids if you have?
Well, no, I did not see that cut right there. But yeah, you know, he's with the new swag, man. He's trying to hold on to his last little bit of youth, man. He about to be an OG like LeBron any day now. And I mean, Steph was a little bitty boy. He looked like a little bitty boy until he grew his goatee. I remember when Steph was the backup point for Monte Ellis. And those Warriors, you know, Matt Barnes, I don't know who all was on that team, but then was Steven Jackson. They was some wild boys. They used to hit the club nightly. And the times when Steph would be with him, I was like, who's that little boy over there with the Warriors?
Saturday night, Too Short and E40 take the Verzuz stage. We can't wait for that. Thank you so much for taking the time out to join us on Jalen Jacoby. We'll be right back after this. Tonight at 9 p.m., the second of two preseason games between the Warriors and the Kings. That's at 9 o'clock on ESPN. Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby. Want to thank Too Short for coming through. That was special. And I want to turn our attention to the NFL MVP, where it seems like it's a two-quarterback race with Derrick Henry looking in from the outside between Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers, who had this to say about the MVP race. He said the following: I think it should live up to what it stands for as an acronym. It's the person who's most valuable to their team. I feel like that's why I should be in the competition most years, and this year especially. Jalen, is he saying that Patrick Mahomes has more around him than he does? That's why he is the more valuable quarterback.
It's only right we talk about Aaron Rodgers after we had Too Short on, because he just popping his collar. He just talking that talk. You know, he'll go to the press conference, tell you he going to have an extra glass of scotch when he play well. He does have great weapons. Aaron Jones out of the backfield. Devontae Adams, one of the top receivers in the game. He deserves to be in that MVP conversation. I've seen him be a heartbreaker over the years against my Lions time and time again, Jacoby. For the rest of the world that for whatever reason haven't been watching, Aaron Rodgers been putting it down.
We'll be back tomorrow at 2 p.m. on ESPN. I want to thank Too Short for coming through and want to remind everybody that we have exclusive podcast content every day in the podcast.
Too Short.